Hi, it's Mark Bernard here with the Bernard Institute for Cybersecurity Excellence, and today I'm here to talk about legal obligations. This is an important topic, and the reason why is because the Governance Committee, who provides oversight of the cybersecurity program, should have a very good and firm handle on what legal obligations it is that the cybersecurity program needs to provide assurance over. Most organizations that I have seen do not have, in fact, a complete list of the acts or regulations or any kind of contracts that the organization has to comply with. So while the general counsel and the lawyers may have an idea of it, nobody else seems to. So it makes it very difficult for the organization to comply with the requirements of these legal obligations. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about this to try and help you understand so that you can make sure that it doesn't happen in your organization. Okay, this is at the very top of the organization. Okay, cybersecurity knows no boundaries. It's so true. I'm Mark Bernard, and this is a Bernard Institute for Cybersecurity Excellence, and we're talking about legal obligations. You can find me on social media. You can find me on LinkedIn, my private account, but also my company account. You can also find me on Facebook. If you're looking, you can find my business account on Facebook. I'm on Twitter and on YouTube. And of course, I have a website where I'm recording these videos and saving them on Vimeo. So feel free to drop by Vimeo and take a check. We have some training programs available on our website if you're interested on the NIST cybersecurity framework, and we're working on the ISO 27001 information security management system training. Okay, so without further ado, let's proceed. Legal obligations. What does that look like? What does that mean? A lot of people have no idea. This is something that they don't really teach in cybersecurity programs. A lot of the things that I'll be talking about in these next 6 videos actually are really fine points of cybersecurity management systems that aren't really addressed very well, if at all, in most cybersecurity programs. A lot of times they focus on the technical aspects of cybersecurity and fail to meet the soft skills and talk about the soft skills that are required, such as identifying the legal obligations. Normally, when I build an enterprise cybersecurity program, I start by creating this legal registry. Okay, the legal registry is sliced into 4 buckets, you can see. So we have statutes and laws, which are basically federal and provincial or state laws. Then we have regulations, which help to guide different industries. And then we have internal facing contracts and external facing contracts. And let's talk about that a little bit. So internal facing contracts are the obligations that our organization, our enterprise, has to comply with. When we license software from Microsoft or Oracle, for instance, they have obligations to keep their code private and to respect their intellectual property. So we do that. External facing contracts are contracts that we have with customers and other organizations that we might provide services to. And so let's take a look at some of the examples actually. So statutes and laws. So we're talking about things like the Incorporation Act. We're talking about Internal Revenue Service Act or the Canadian Revenue Service Act. We're talking about Civil Rights Act. We have a long list. Some organizations that I have created the legal registry for have up to 60 or 70 different laws and regulations that they have to comply with. And it's important as cybersecurity professionals for us to go through these and to identify what are the impacts to the organization. Where does it state that we have to maintain confidentiality of this type of information? Where does it state that we have to provide a high level of integrity? So for instance, when an organization is publishing their annual books or their financial statements, the data has to be accurate. Integrity of that information is paramount to the success of the organization. If there are any issues or any errors in those statements, it can create some reputational damage. It could do worse. The organization might get fined for lying. So that's not good. So it's very important. So confidentiality, integrity, and of course the availability of that information. So in most countries, you have to maintain financial information of the organization for up to 10 years after the organization is done operating. So that's a big investment for a lot of organizations, making sure you have accurate records and then maintaining those for up to 10 years because the auditors might come back and take a look at them. So those are some examples of statutes and laws. Some examples of regulations are, of course, the General Data Protection Regulation. This is a regulation to help guide industries on how to handle personally identifiable information or private information. Very important. There's the payment card industry data security specification. So PCI DSS. This is another important regulation that helps to manage the risk around handling financial information. And then there's one of my favorites, the New York State Department of Financial Services, NDFS, has a standard for cybersecurity, and it's a very good standard, and they spent a lot of time on it. So you can tell when you look at it that it's high quality. Now, some examples of internal facing, again, would be like Microsoft licensing, Oracle, SAP licensing. Anytime you have licensing and you're basically renting software to do your work, the enterprise, you have to protect their intellectual property. Pardon me. And then there's external facing. So you have customers, strategic partners, vendors, and suppliers as well. And you may have to have flow down clauses. So for instance, when you have to comply with the General Data Protection Regulation, there are requirements in that for the protection of private information. If you share that private information with any third parties, then you also need to make sure that there's some flow down clauses that basically take the obligations of the GDPR and they bake it into the contract. And the flow down not only says that the person that you're doing business with externally, the third party, has to follow these guidelines or these standards for information security or cybersecurity, but also anybody that's providing service to them, because a lot of times, a third party, you're getting them to do some processing. Maybe it's payments, maybe it's something else. And so you share some information with them. But a lot of times they're farming out different pieces of their own business. So this becomes like a supply chain, right? Supply chain risk. So that's the legal registry. This is something that the Cybersecurity Governance Committee should have. I would say must, but I don't know if that's true. I think actually it is. I think you need to have this, right? You need to have a good handle on the laws, the regulations, the internal and external facing contracts in order to make sure that your cybersecurity program is doing the right things when it comes to protecting confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Now, my name is Mark Bernard, and this is a very short video on legal obligations. I create these videos so that I can share knowledge with my colleagues who may not know some of the finer points of a cybersecurity program, but also for the new people who are just coming into our industry and who need a leg up to get a handle on the programs. I hope that you found it useful, and if you did, make sure that you like the video and you share it with your friends, please. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave those in the comments. You can find me on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter. And you can find me on my website at thebernardinstitute.com, where we provide training from, or you can email me or call me even. I hope that you have a great day, and thank you for coming by and visiting. Take care now.